All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Commission by Christ Bible study. And one of the key things that I want to make sure that we go over today, of course, anybody who has been following along, or if you've been watching any of the videos, um, we are covering Genesis, right? So we're starting from the beginning. This today's session, we will be going over Genesis 18 through 23. Before any of the other gentlemen get on, one thing that I wanted to disclose and one thing that I want to make sure that everybody knows is that this is not a space for judgment. This is not a space for people to come and try to attack Christianity. We are a group of Christian men. That is a fact. So I just ask that everyone who comes on here is respectful. Um, as I will respect your beliefs. But if you are a non-believer, we invite you to these holy conversations. We invite you to this holy place together. And that way, if you have ever had questions about the Bible, there's a ton of videos out there where the Bible contradicts itself. What did God get right? These are things that through the text, directly through the text, you can learn all these things. And too many times do I see people where they'll take the text and they'll carve it out to mean what they want it to mean, not necessarily what it should mean. So, um, we're going to go ahead and get started here. We'll get the other guys going. And let's see. Boom. I need to share. Um, So again, like I said, for anybody who is joining us, we will be going through Genesis 18 through 23. Okay. If you wanted to see the previous ones, they're all on a playlist on the channel. So you're more than welcome to go through that. That way you can get a better understanding and see where we're at if you have not gone through Genesis. One of the biggest things that I want to make sure that we can discuss and go over is understanding that in the Bible, and something that I have learned through my journey, is not making my own interpretation of the text. And that's what we see too many times. And that's why you see a lot of people online that are confused or they're like, oh, well, this part says this, right? And then they just read that one part, but they haven't read the books that came before it. They haven't read scriptures that came before it. And that's why you see a lot of times people get confused of interpretation of scripture. So for me, I take scripture black and white. I see it as it is. I know that there's many times where people will have questions of the Old Testament, because that's what we're working in right now, the Old Testament, where people will wonder, well, why would God allow this and why would God allow that? And so the more that you read the book, you get a better understanding of why those things take place. Now, keep in mind, everyone, that me and you, right, the person across the screen, we are physical human beings, right? So we're never going to understand the way God thinks. We don't have a God brain. We don't have a God mind. And so we only look at things from a perspective of human flesh, right? And too many times we'll sit there and say, "Oh, well, if God was real, why would he allow kids to kids to die or get sick or cancer or this, that, and the third?" But the more you understand the scripture, you understand that is not God's doing. So I'm excited today. We're going to be jumping in. Casey is going to be joining us here in a bit. And hopefully any of the other brothers within the Commission by Christ Bible study will be joining us today. But again, like I said, if you want to be a part of this, you're more than welcome to follow the channel, subscribe. We do these every Friday at 6:30. Today I'm a little late because the family had me running around a little bit. But we'll go ahead and get Casey in here and see how he's been doing. See how he's going. KC, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
I can
hang on.
hear you.
I'm
I can see you.
trying to get this all right, commission dismiss. Trying to get this linked up with my laptop.
Oh, you're good, brother. You're good.
Uh join see member or what's the ID on it?
The ID.
Yeah, hang on.
See, I can find out for you pretty quick. Like the meeting ID.
Yeah.
It's 897
Hang on a minute. Hold on. So 897
4897
or 897.
6138.
Oh, hang on, 6138.
Mm,
So 897 489 or well 4897 six
mm,
one three eight.
correct.
All right,
And I have the
and
passcode if you need that too.
again, I don't connect. Okay, join. Meeting passcode.
It's going to be 141
So 141
185.
185. Join. Come on.
What is going on with you, brother?
There it is.
Tavion.
All right, hang on a minute. I'm gonna sign out of this one here.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. Take your
Yeah,
time.
no, yeah.
Jason Cleveland. Let's go. Trying to see what would I add? This video order. Okay. Live whiteboard. Trying to see if I can add some audio to this thing.
What's going on, Josh? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man?
Good.
All
What's
right, can
going
y'all
on,
hear
brother?
us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hi,
I can
sir.
hear you loud and clear. What's going on, boss?
I'm
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
trying to see. Wait a minute. I know what I can do.
Tavion, how's business going for you, bro?
Pretty good. What about you? That big storm it brought some business in.
I bet, man.
What's up, Tavia?
What's going on, Casey?
Oh man, same old, brother.
Yes, sir.
What areas do y'all primarily focus on?
The what?
The whole DFW?
All DFW?
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. What was you asking?
No, I was talking to Tavion of how it's been going with the roofing stuff.
Oh,
Because I know
gotcha.
you do roofing and insurance,
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, we do
right?
with the insurance. We do anywhere in the United States. We can do Canada too.
That's sick, bro. That's sick. Yeah, so Yeah, man. We'll definitely have to get together, man, and see if I can help you out in that department, bro.
For sure. I gotta send some more business your way too. If you can paint, a lot of people have been asking me about painting.
About painting?
Yes, sir. Like painting
Yeah.
the exterior of the house.
Yeah, I have some subcontractors that work with me on that.
Ooh, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean I'll do it from time to time. Like I've done a couple renovations that my grandmother-in-law has. Um, but man, it's a pain, dude.
Yeah,
Even with the sprayer, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's a pain, but I'd be down to do it for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you
Be
know.
down to do it. Yeah, let me know and we'll get together after this and we'll set something up, bro.
That'll work, brother.
That way you get some little kickbacks or something.
All right. Can y'all hear us now?
Oh yeah.
All
Oh yeah.
right. Good. I got you hooked up on the big screen today.
I like it.
Hi
I
guys.
like it. Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm Casey's friend from Wisconsin. So you got a cheddarhead with you.
I like it. I
He's the
like it. Well,
one that
welcome.
he's the one that joined us on Clubhouse.
I see. I see. That's Mitch.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Mitch.
sir.
That's right. I remember him saying he was gonna be visiting soon.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that.
Well,
Hey,
man, good to see
I was
you.
gonna say, Tavion, how's the baby doing, bro?
She is good. She's up back there making noise now. Y'all will probably hear her in a minute.
Yeah, I got one of mine is sleeping right now. The other one's downstairs terrorizing stuff. So
Yep.
Ugh.
sometimes you got to split them up a little bit, man. Luckily, you got the one for now.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, don't have another one till that one's potty trained, bro. That's the one thing
Working
I
on
would
that.
tell you, bro. Yeah,
That's good advice.
I'm telling you, man, because right now we got the baby and we're trying to potty train, and it's a hot mess. Hot mess.
I can
Man,
imagine.
I got my old
It's good.
Jimmy version today. New King Jimmy version.
You got a new one?
Now no, it's the New King James. Yeah, New King Jimmy version.
Oh, I thought you bought a new King
Oh,
James
man.
version.
Now I hadn't torn into this one since was at Rhema pretty much.
I got my Charles Spurgeon study Bible here, man.
Charles.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like ESV. I like ESV is usually where I'm at. I like the ESV.
And of course I still got the the phone, the all version.
Yeah.
Where are we at tonight, gentlemen?
I think we're
I
on
believe we're gonna be on
18. I think we're on 18, aren't we? Or did we stop at 17?
18 day.
Yeah, you're freezing up there, Josh. Yeah, you kind of froze up there, Josh. The server, I guess.
What's that?
His internet.
So what chapter 18?
Mm-hmm.
18 chapter of what?
Genesis.
Genesis.
Work going all right for you, Tavia?
What'd you say, Casey?
The work going all right for you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Had to get off early. My fiance, she's at Rain, so I'm watching my daughter right now.
Go. How
I've
old
been
is
trying to. She's 3. She'll be 4 pretty soon here in December.
Dude, enjoy it, man. Dude.
Yes, sir. Like Josh was saying, I'm trying to potty train.
There you go. Girls ain't that difficult.
No, they're not that bad.
So it's the boys who are hot-headed, right? And how did my dad put up with me and my brother both? I don't know. Nah, I was a good kid.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, if you guys want to take a look at to where I live at, if you look on the map of Wisconsin, I am 20 minutes from the Illinois border and 20 minutes from the Iowa border.
Look at that, boys. Look at that, boys.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
Did you get us all one?
I wish. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. Where mine's at?
I was gonna
They're
say.
actually merchant or on or the merch store is back up on. So that says strong, pretty much. Yeah.
I love that.
So yeah.
I love that. All right, I just switched over my Wi-Fi's. I got everybody and their mom over here today.
Oh yeah, that
So
would
everybody's draining my Wi-Fi.
yeah. That would explain it.
I love that, man.
Why not getting me?
I miss Michael, dude. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Getting me a hat too.
I miss Michael's presence, man.
Yeah, you're not the only one, brother.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, I wish they made their baseball caps like I wish they made baseball cap hats.
They
'Cause
do.
I'm not super fond of like the round, just like the round.
They do. They
Yeah, the
actually
baseball.
have the trucker hats. Yes.
Yeah, okay. See, I could work with that. I could work with that.
Yeah.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Well, yeah, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, Casey. I believe we're on 18,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yep.
18. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. We'll try to jump through as much as we can. I know we started a lot later, and I gotta start bedtime around 8:30 for the kids. So it kind of gives us a good about hour and a half, or I'd say about hour and a few change for us to get through what we can get through.
Yeah.
But I definitely would rather get through good scripture and like get good understanding of it,
Yeah.
um, than just trying to rush through it, you know?
Yes, sir.
So I can, let's see.
Man, and we got an extra reader back here too, so
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
true. That's true. Okay. All right. We rock, paper, scissors for who's going first, or y'all want me to shoot first?
I mean,
Where are we right now?
Genesis 18.
Okay.
Genesis
I can go first
18.
if you like me to, sir.
yeah, Mitch can jump on.
I like it.
No.
I like it.
You can just tell me when to stop.
Yeah, whole chapter.
I can do the whole chapter.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'll read the whole chapter for you guys. I
Well,
love.
and he's more of the he got the name knowledge down. Yeah.
I'm already. All right, I'll begin.
Let's do it.
Abraham's heavenly visitors. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away. I pray thee from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, and therefore are ye come to your servant? And he said, So do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran into the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk from the calf which had been dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to a little time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age. And it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, Am I waxed old? Shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied it, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou did laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Call
I
her
like that.
out right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, man, like
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus-
one
pretty much in Super
one
Bowl.
of the cool things that I like about that particular scripture
Yeah.
is, well, one, it's funny, right? Like when we talk about like just the beginning of that scripture, right? Where it says, and the Lord appeared to Abraham, right? Um, and he had three visitors. So from it's funny because a lot of the times people will deny Jesus being in the Old Testament, right? But
Everything
we
is-
also know,
Sorry.
say again?
I said everything.
No, I was gonna say
everything
we also know that
points to him.
exactly. Like we also know too, though, that the physical form of the triune God is Jesus,
Yep.
right? So when we even just see that first part where he had three visitors, one was the Lord, that's a physical thing that he's actually seeing,
Yeah.
which again points the direction to Jesus being that person that he encountered, right, as God. And so I find that really interesting. I was looking over it a little bit today before we started, and that really blew my mind, right? Like where now, when I go back to read the scripture, I see those little things like that, and I'm like, wait, there were three people, right? Like there were three people he physically saw and prepared meals for, and they ate. So that wasn't a mirage. That wasn't something that they were physically there. So I find that really, really cool.
Dude, I ate so much food these last few days, man. I don't think I could eat another morsel tonight. Seriously. I will tell you this before I begin again.
Mm.
Y'all don't mess around with food down here, man.
Oh no, not at all, man.
And
Like seriously, I don't get 90% of this food that I'm eating down here. It is nothing compared to what we got in Wisconsin. It's like everything I have eaten has blown Wisconsin out of the water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, all we have is Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. I'm representing the Chick-fil-A from Iowa.
Welcome to the South, my friend.
I was gonna say, man, it's only those genetically gifted people that stay looking like Tavion. The
Yep.
rest of us plump up, man.
Well, I mean, and I've told Casey, I'm like, dude, by the time you send me back home, I'm going to be about 5-10 pounds heavier.
how old are you, Tavion?
I'm 23. I'll be 24 at the end of this month.
Yeah.
There's your reason.
Nah, he's got them good genetics, man. Watch.
I did too.
We're gonna see Tavion in his 40s, bro. He's still gonna be in good shape.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have that baby face.
Exactly.
I'll be 30. I'll be 38 or 39. Oh, 38. I'll be 38 this October. But
Wow.
Anywho,
All right, keep it rocking. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, what is this? Abraham's plea for Sodom.
Yes.
I'm still on oh yeah, sorry. And the men rose from thence and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation. Excuse me. And the nations of the earth shall be blessed by him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that he has spoken of him. And the Lord said, because of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which has come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from hence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked? That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all earth do right? And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken up upon me to speak unto the Lord, which I am dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city for a lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spoke unto them yet again and said, peradventure there shall be 40 found there? And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Wow. Peradventure there shall be 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, behold now, Lord, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure there be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but thee once more. Peradventure that there shall be found in the peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the 10's sake. And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left, communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. I think that is funny, because he's like, now Lord, don't be angry with me. But
One more question.
like, can we knock this down a little bit? He's like, I bet you in the back of Abraham's mind, he's thinking, how low can I get? How low can I get to save Sodom and Gomorrah? Can there be 50? Okay, okay, 45. Okay, 40. How about 10?
Yeah. That was something that stood out to me when I was previously reading that today, where it was like, it wasn't Abraham changing God's mind. It was actually God changing Abraham's mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's thinking, he's like, oh, well, if there's 50 people there, you're not going to do it. He's like, no, I won't. He's like, well, okay, maybe there might not be 50 people. But what about 40 people? Right? And God's like, sure. And he's like, wait a second, there might not be 40 good people in there. So it's cool to see that, like, we know that or Abraham knows that God punishes sin by death.
Yeah.
And so because of that, he's seeing like, okay, how merciful are you, God? And God's like, if there's one good person in there, I won't destroy it. I mean, that should also let us know like how crazy Sodom and Gomorrah were, for sure.
100%.
I mean, I know I've heard people say before, oh, you know, America is turning into like Sodom and Gomorrah, but I think about it more. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, we're not even close
No.
to what
Nah.
Sodom and Gomorrah were. I mean, if you
No.
really think about it,
No.
we're not even close.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I won't speak for myself, but I know my pastor Troy Brewer and Leanna
Right.
Brewer are good people. And so I rock with open doors. So you know what I mean? I know they're good people. And I know like, you know, there are good people here in the States.
We
Wow.
got some good people on this call.
Yeah, exactly. Really good people on this call, man. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I agree. We're nothing like that.
Even in my little footnotes, it says on 18 through 6, or 18, 1 through 6, it says Hebrews 13:2 urges practice of hospitality, or since someone or since someone or since some have shown or hospitality to angels without knowing it. Abraham's treatment to the three strangers here may here may have been the background for this verse in Hebrews. Surely this is an example to the or to be followed as we progress spiritually. One of our goals is to help others or to discover the new way of life. New way of life that we have found. There's what better way than to be hospitable towards others. And then of course 17 through 19 said many people wonder why God chose one man and his family or out of all the others. Was this fair? Or these verses show us that God had an important purpose for choosing this one family. Or God picked Abraham so he could teach his descendants God's ways, or through his ancestral line would become Jesus the Messiah. Says one source a source of blessing for all the nations of the earth. So God never planned to bless only one family. God chose one family to bring our blessings and a means of redemption to all, or to all of us. Then 22 through 32 is that are often we are urged to pray for others who have who have problems and difficulties. In these in these verses we hear Abraham as he entreats God on behalf of Lot and his family. He is deeply concerned for their welfare, and entices or intercedes for them as he speaks with God. We too are to reach out and or help others who are in need. Prayer is a powerful powerful means of doing this. Wow, definitely.
Yeah, I know I've said this before, man, but footnotes have definitely helped me understand scripture a lot better.
Yeah,
A lot better.
Sure. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where I'll read something and I'm like, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
You know, like not all of us are Mitch. You know?
Wait, what?
I said not all of us are you, man. We're not Bible experts yet, brother.
Oh, I'm not a Bible expert. Trust me.
No.
I've got a lot to learn.
Yep.
I learn every day. You know, like I'm just looking at here on what Spurgeon wrote for 1825. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Abraham bases his argument on the justice of God. And when a man dares to do that, it is a mighty pleading, for dependent on it, God will never do an unjust thing. If we dare to plead his righteousness, his infallible justice, we plead most powerfully.
Wow.
Mm.
Dude, that's
I like that.
And then 1832, Preadventure 10 shall be found there. He went no further than to plead that Sodom might be spared if 10 righteous persons could be found in it. I have heard some say that it was a pity Abraham did not go on pleading with God, but I would not dare to say so. He knew better when he began and when to leave off than you and I do. There are certain restraints in prayer which a man of God cannot explain to others, but which he nevertheless feels. God moves his servants to pray in a certain case, and they pray with great liberty and manifest power. Another case may seem to be precisely like it, yet the mouth of the former supplicant is shut. And in his heart, he does not feel that he can pray as he did before. Do you blame the men of God? Assuredly. Do I blame the men of God? Assuredly not. The Lord deals wisely with his servants, and he tells them, be gentle by gentle hints, which they quickly understand when and where to stop in their supplications.
wow.
Whoa. I never looked at it like that before.
Yeah.
That's deep, man.
Yeah. What do
That's
we,
actually really deep.
oh, I even got my phone. We can even let the let the Bible app actually read 19 if we want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I like what mine says. It says the lesson for us is clear. God is not only better than our fears, he is better than our hopes. If we are concerned for his honor, he is always willing to lead us as far as our faith will travel, always assuring us of his faithfulness to our highest thoughts of him.
Man, where's the
I like
microphone now when you drop it?
No kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's good, man. What version you read off of? There you go.
I'm not sure. It's this I actually bought it from the Open Door thing, the Spiritual Growth Bible.
Oh,
I can't even see
Okay.
that.
wow.
I think it's the
Okay.
ESV one.
Okay. Yeah, English Standard Version's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I needed training wheels first, and then I'm gonna go back to the King James version.
Man, King James it's like the what is it, the Message Bible? It's just too
Yep.
wordy for me. You know?
Yep.
The thee,
Yeah,
thy.
I had my new King James ready to go, but then I realized like when I tried putting that in my pack or in my bag to come down here, it would have been just a little too big. And I'm like, well, sorry, Charles. I'm like, Spurgeon, you're coming with me to Texas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I had
Man,
I had a big old case to it and everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's just a little bulky.
yeah. I was gonna say me and my wife, we went down to Houston for a marriage conference. And we, during one of the breaks, we went to like this Books a Million.
Oh,
And I
wow.
kid you not, they had this like King James Bible. I mean, this thing was like, I mean, I can't make it up. This thing was massive.
Right.
Like it looked like it belonged like in a castle. It was crazy.
Let me guess, it's the King James 1613 version.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my friend actually bought me that Bible when I graduated Bible college, and it is written in the old style English. So like,
Yeah.
I was looking at it. Isaiah is actually spelled IFIA.
Huh.
And yeah, it's the original
What you searching on your books?
English.
What you
I was
searching?
talking to the missus.
It looked like you searching for a book on your bookshelf.
I may have it somewhere here.
Right.
It's one of them.
That's one of these here. Yeah, no, it was really cool, man. I mean, if it wasn't like $200, I would have bought it. But I have nowhere to put something that size right now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
Although I will point out, I do have my real bookshelf to the right of me. It's not this filled, but it's about 60% of that.
Right.
About 60% of that.
Man.
That's what I want my bookshelves to look like, though.
I
But
took
yeah, that's awesome.
I took that Bible to church with me one day, and I had it sitting. I was sitting in the chair, and I had it right next to me. The spine of the Bible actually came up past my hip.
That's what I'm saying. It's a massive book.
It is thick,
It's
and
probably one of the biggest. But I'm telling you, it looks like it belongs like in a castle entrance. Like when you walk in, it should just be open.
Wow.
I mean, my
You
pastor
know?
grabbed a hold of that, and he says, "Man, think about thumping somebody alongside the head with this book. It gives the word Bible thumper to a whole nother level."
You catch the Holy Spirit real fast getting hit with that.
Yeah.
It'll leave you unconscious for a couple of days, but
Right.
that thing was big. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a copy of it. I'm gonna send it in the group chat.
Right.
But all right, where we at now?
19.
Yeah. 19.
19.
The
Okay,
two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of
I like
Sodom.
it.
When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself with his face to the earth and said, "My lords, please turn aside to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early and go on your way." They said, "No, we will spend the night in the town square." But he pressed them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people to the last man, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them." Lot went out to the men at the
That's
entrance,
not what
shut
it
the door
says.
after him, and said,
That's not what it says.
Do what?
No, I was saying like it's funny how that part says so we can get to know them.
Yeah.
They ain't want to get to know.
No. No.
They,
Not at
you
all.
know, they was trying to pull a Diddy, man.
"You, my
That's
brothers,
Much
crazy.
different word.
Yeah. So yeah, look
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to make that quick.
behold, I have two daughters who have not known any man. Let me bring them out to you, and do to them as you please."
And see, that right there disturbs me.
That whole part right there disturbs me.
I mean, leave the men or leave the two guys alone that are in my house, but I do have some daughters that haven't seen any men.
But this is the crazy part about this. Think about that. How loyal do you have to be? Right? Because think about it. These weren't just like, oh, this is
Right.
Bob and Steve.
No.
He knew these were two angels from
Hell yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Right? So for him to be like, no, leave them alone. Take my flesh, but don't touch this.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a quite a commitment from a person, right? I mean, just as right going a couple chapters back when God was like, hey, go kill Isaac.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, right? Like it's crazy. I mean, obviously different things because that wasn't God. That was like, hey, let me do this to these people, right? But I think it shows how I guess in a sense obedient. I know us as like earthly parents, and especially y'all have girls.
Right.
So I know it hits home differently.
Dude.
But again, it still shows the obedience that Lot had in that moment. You know? But yeah, that blew my mind. The other day I was literally listening to this. I was going to sleep. And it's like 2 a.m. And I literally wake up and I'm like, surely I'm about to open my Bible up. There's no way that that's in there.
Yeah.
And I read it and I'm like, yo, he was willingly like, yo, here, take my girls, do whatever you want with them. Just leave these guys alone. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Different times.
"For they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand back." And they said, This fellow came to sojourn, and he has become the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them.
Mm.
Then they pressed hard against the man Lot and drew near to break the door down. But the men reached out their hands and brought Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the entrance of the house, both small and great, so that they wore themselves out groping for the door. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city, bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." So Lot went out and said to his sons-in-law who were to marry his daughters, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city." But he seemed to his sons-in-law to be jesting. As morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be swept away in the punishment of the city." But he lingered. So the men seized him and his wife and his 2 daughters by the hand, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. And as they brought them out, one said, "Escape."
I can only imagine Lot lingering, saying, "No, hang on a minute. Let me just think this over for a second.
Seriously.
Wait, I need to grab a couple of extra bottles of waters and then
Yeah, yeah.
some modern day things here. I mean, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Let me he just killing time. You know,
Yeah.
he's lingering,
Yeah.
saying, all right, let's see exactly what will happen if I just stick around for a few more minutes.
You know, I
then,
just
Then them angels picked, pretty much grabbed him and his wife and his kids and said, threw them out in the street, said,
Yeah.
let's go. We ain't playing.
Yeah.
I just
They-
thought about this. This just came to me a little bit ago. While you were saying that, Casey. In this context, they were trying to get out of the city.
Yeah.
Because God was going to destroy their city of sin. This may be a stinger for every single one of us here.
Oh,
But yeah, this is a stinger. I'm sorry. But how many times has God tried to get us out of a habitual sin? And we'd be like, no, wait, hold on. I want to hold
That's
on.
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord just laid that on me.
Man.
As you were talking, I'm like, ow.
Yeah.
It's that hesitation, but he still shows us mercy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a bit slow sometimes. Sometimes I need an angel like that, man. I need to be pulled out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Sure.
Nice catch.
Man. All right.
That wasn't no Randall Cobb catch, but I still
stop anywhere in the valley.
Yeah.
Escape to the hills, lest you be swept away. And Lot said to them, "Oh no, my lords. Behold, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life. But I cannot escape to the hills, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. Behold, this city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my life will be saved." He said to him, "Behold, I grant you this favor also, that I will not overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Escape there quickly, for I can do nothing till you arrive there." Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. And he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the valley. And he looked, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had lived. Now Lot went up out of Zoar and lived in the hills with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to live in Zoar. So he lived in a cave with his 2 daughters.
This is another wild part.
Yeah.
Our father is old, and there's not a man on earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with.
I mean, in their eyes, God just destroyed pretty much the whole earth. So, oh yeah,
Yeah.
not another man on this earth. Let's do exactly like what Noah and Noah and them did. Repopulate.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, again, the circumstances,
I mean,
right? Like, I mean, think about it, right? Like, think about it. From beginning of Genesis, right? We see Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel. Obviously, Cain and Abel cannot reproduce, so that means that the daughters of Adam and Eve were the
right.
wives of Cain, right? Or at least one of them. So obviously, at some point in history, it was a normal thing to
Oh yeah,
reproduce with brother and sister or whatever, right? Like because you needed to reproduce.
yeah,
Um, but the fact that they were getting my man drunk
yeah.
and they did it back to back, I mean, I think that's kind of crazy. But I guess to them, like you said, right, it's all about perspective. They're thinking, oh, he must have did this to the whole world. We're the only people left. How are we going to keep the family line going?
But
Right.
Lot had said, "Let me go off to this other city,
Yeah.
this other little town," and the angels said, "God won't destroy that town."
Yeah. Yeah.
But he chose to go up into the mountains instead of going to
Which
that
is what
town.
the Lord told him to do in the first place.
Right. Exactly.
Because he looked and he goes, well, maybe I don't want to live in there. And you know what? I am just going to do what the Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
Originally told me to do.
Yep.
I see that. Okay.
yeah, like, yeah, he obeyed what the Lord had said, but it was after he already saw, what he wanted, and then I was like, well, maybe this is not the right, right,
So that means they did see that city and saw there were other people there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Him, that we may preserve offspring from our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He did not know when she lay down or when she arose.
That bull was
The
drunk.
next day the firstborn said, Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine tonight also. Then you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve offspring from our father. So they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. The firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day.
And see right there, I mean, yeah, you're born or you're having boys and stuff, but you don't just you realize that you just had your brother.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. You
Mm.
just bore your brother.
Yeah.
There was this part here in my footnotes for 1930 through 38. I know we haven't, or we're not fully at 38 yet. Oh no, we did.
Yeah.
But it says in this pitiful sequel of the story of the destruction of Sodom, we see 2 women compelled to preserve their family line.
Yeah.
They were driven not by lust, but by desperation. They feared
Okay.
that they would never marry. Lot's tendency to compromise and refusal to act reached its peak. He should have found right partners for his daughters long before this. Abraham's family wasn't far away. Now, the 2 daughters stooped to incest, showing their acceptance of the morals of Sodom. We
Yeah.
are most likely to sin when we are desperate for what we feel we must have.
And see mine, 19, pretty much 38 or 30 to 38 is pretty much the incest of Lot's family or was a or direct or what's up, brother? On my Zoom call for Bible study. All right. That Yeah, so the incest of Lot's family was a direct consequence, consequence of Lot's uh irresponsibility or irresponsible decision in the past. He had spent his years in a wicked city and had failed to find a suitable husband find suitable husbands for his daughters. Or their desire their desire for children led to deceit and deceit and incest. Or but there is hope beyond the shocking details of this story. Even though our Lot failed in so many ways, many centuries later, the Apostle Peter used him as a clear example of one whose righteousness came by grace through faith. Yeah, Second Peter 2:7, Second Peter chapter 2:7-8. That our Lot was extremely was an extremely flawed person, but God is a gracious God. There's hope available for each of us, even if we are leaving behind a sword past.
Wow.
Because I'll tell you guys this too, man. Like the one thing I've learned is God is really good at making something good with half-baked decisions or decisions that aren't necessarily the best.
Right.
Yeah.
So he can still take a half-baked idea and still turn it really, really good.
Yep.
Right. And so I think that's like one of the most amazing traits of the Lord, right? Is that
Yeah.
like, if me and Tavion were like, hey, we're starting a business tomorrow. And it may not be the best idea. But if
Right.
we put the Lord first, he's always going to fill in those missing cracks to make it a great idea and to make those things happen.
Exactly.
Where in this case, right, like obviously they were using that mindset of Sodom and Gomorrah, but the Lord still used that to, obviously make it a right decision,
And even what what caught me in this chapter and stuff is, again, Lord help me, but woman not listening to God's wording, verbiage, saying don't look back. And Lot's wife turns around and looks an instant. Pillar of
Now I will say this too though, right? Like one thing that we did learn at Quest, right, is men, especially when you have a wife, right?
Right.
So when a woman is single, Jesus is that woman's covering,
Yep.
right? When you become her like through covenant, her husband, you
Yeah.
become that covering,
Yes.
right? So I know for me, right, if that were me, I would have made sure Sarah kept going forward, right?
Yeah.
Like by any means necessary.
And
Because I'm supposed to be the person
I wouldn't have been
that
way ahead.
I would have kept correct. I wouldn't have been so ahead that I don't see what Sarah's doing.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, obviously I'm using my wife for example, right? Um, but I'm saying, right, like you should have been behind, and the moment you see a slight turn, it's like, no,
Yep.
fix yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. You know
Right.
what I mean? But that's what happens when too many times we are ahead. Wife is back here. We have no idea what she's doing.
Right.
And
But if-
the crazy think about it. When did he realize she turned to a pillar of salt? Because he didn't turn around. But at some point they got to where they were going, and he's like, "Oh no, she
Yep.
must have turned around."
Yeah.
And so I mean that whole situation is crazy itself. But
You're welcome.
I think it's
Dave,
interesting.
they've actually found the exact location pretty much, and that pillar still stands today.
Yup.
Wow.
Yeah, and they I think they dug a little bit of or drilled a little bit of spot out of it, and yeah, there's DNA in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I love how science is now proving so many things that are
Yeah.
biblically accurate. Um, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating to see that like this, where a lot of people may think this book is fables and fairy tales, it's actually really not. So,
Yep.
all right, were we on 20?
Yeah.
All right, I like that little automated thing you got going on.
Yeah, man, do
Yeah,
it
that's
again.
smooth.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I'll do it again. Well, let's go.
Chapter 20. From there Abraham journeyed toward the territory of the Negeb, and lived between Kadesh and Shur, and he sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, Lord, will you kill an innocent people? Did he not himself say to me, She is my sister? And she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands I have done this. Then God said to him in the dream, Yes, I know that you have done this in the integrity of your heart, and it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now then, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, so that he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not return her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours.
Hey,
So
can you pause that real quick?
in the morning and called all his servants.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is he said, surely you won't curse me for something I did not know.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, no, 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 no. I know your heart. Right? But I'm giving you a choice. Now, if you do it, you're good. If you don't, then you're willingly continuing to do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll suffer the consequences. That makes me think of a lot of congregations that are under false pastors and pulpits
There you
who are
go.
being fed a false doctrine that even though for them, right, because a lot of people unfortunately don't pick up the book, right? They go to a sermon, they that's where they get their knowledge from God and when they spend time with God. So if you have churches and pastors and pulpits that are putting out false doctrine, that congregation unfortunately is getting false information.
Yeah.
But this particular text shows that even in that circumstance, if he knows that your heart truly did not know, he will still be merciful and not give you that wrath punishment as he would if somebody who knew this was false doctrine, false information, and then said, I'm still just going to run with it because it sounds good. It goes with my theory of life. That's actually really cool. I've read this literally the same passage so many times, and it just hit me as that was reading, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing right there is that's not the second time that Abraham has done that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's done that multiple times, because again, it explains it. He's like, I was afraid that, y'all would kill me and take
I'd
my
be
life,
killed.
or,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd lose my life situation.
But it's kind of like Dale was saying the last Bible study was it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where we even see Abraham where he's wavering in his faith, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because in a moment that he should have been trusting God to say, even though I feel this way, right? Now, again, technically, yes. Is that his sister? It is because they have the same dad. But
Yeah.
so you know what I mean? But the problem is that he's not trusting God to fully take care of the situation, right? He's looking at it and saying, you know what? I'm going to just say this because I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
When he should have really been like, hey, you know what, Lord? If it's your will, I'm just going to say the truth from the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Which we kind of see that same, pattern throughout the Bible. But yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Wow.
And told them all these things. And the men were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? And how have I sinned against you that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me things that ought not to be done."
Mm-hmm.
And Abimelech said to Abraham, "What did you see that you did this thing?" Abraham said, "I did it because I thought, there is no fear of God at all in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, though not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife.
Mm.
And when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said to her, 'This is the kindness you must do me. At every place to which we come, say of me, he is my brother.'"
The stepsister.
Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male servants and female servants and gave them to Abraham and returned Sarah his wife to him.
Mm.
And Abimelech said, "Behold, my land is before you. Dwell where it pleases you." To Sarah he said, "Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is a sign of your innocence in the eyes of all who are with you, and before everyone you are vindicated." Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, and also healed his wife and female slaves, so that they bore children. For the Lord had closed all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife.
Wow.
I love how he reinserted, "Hey, I'm giving you this money in front of your brother, not your husband." That was that was that was a little bit of a sly, for sure. For sure.
Wow. Yeah, and
That's interesting, man.
I mean, so pretty much pretty much Sarah was his stepsister. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
And really, if you think about it too, Abraham sinned because he didn't want to be in trouble.
Yep.
yeah,
He saw the consequences and was like, hey, maybe if I just say a little lie, something right here, that ain't going to be so bad. And yet, how many times have we done it too?
right.
Yeah. Yeah. We're again, right? We see the full context of one, in his eyes, one white lie that ended up becoming something that the women couldn't bear children. Diseases were falling down on the land, right? Like the land itself was dying. So
Wow.
one white lie for him became a disaster for everyone else
Yeah.
in
Man.
that land that had nothing to even do with that. And
Yeah.
I think that plays a big role to us as men and in our family and our relationships. And yeah, again, that's not even just like marriage, right? Like your friends, your people at work, like we don't understand the severity of what a lie can do because
Yeah.
we only look at time from a linear path, right?
Yeah.
So we're only seeing it from our perspective, not how it affects everyone else in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, also we're selfish. We're not thinking about what it's going to do to everybody else.
Correct. Correct. And hell, sometimes some people don't even care what it does to anybody else
Yeah.
because it's not them, right? That's the culture we live in now, right? Like people don't care how it affects somebody else as long as it don't affect me too bad. I'm good, you know. So, which we all know, obviously, like going through Quest, we know that lying is just an emotion. It's something that we go to because we don't want people to see the way we actually think and feel,
Right.
right? Right? Like if someone were to ask me, right, "Oh, Josh, how's business going?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're doing great. We're doing 1 million a year," right? If we're doing 30,000 a year, the reason I'm saying 1 million a year is because I'm afraid you guys are going to be like, "Oh, this guy sucks at business," right?
Well, I mean,
That's just the reality of it.
what I think too is that, us men, we were told, cowboy up,
Yeah.
don't show emotion.
That
Don't show,
pride.
don't show your
Yeah.
emotions because, there's only three things in this life: women, children, and dogs are
Mm.
the only ones who are loved unconditionally.
Yep.
Us men are loved because of what we can
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the hard truth about the world that we're living in nowadays.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's true.
Even in
That's
this,
very, very true.
in 20, 1 through 18, it says, why is it so difficult to learn our life's most important lesson? says or to protect himself, Abraham lied, telling Abimelech that his wife Sarah was his sister. The sad truth is Abraham had made this mistake before. Yep, in 12 or Genesis 12:10-20. He had fallen into the pattern or into a pattern of using lies to deceit or to protect himself. But this practice only caused pain to everyone involved. It also displayed how weak Abraham's faith in God was, or when confronted with a difficult situation. The truth is, the truth is crucial to building healthy relationships. If we stand by the truth, we can trust God and stand by we can trust God to stand by us when our things get tough. Dude, come on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of looking at that, right? Is like we and again, right, he should have learned the first time, but we can all say that to ourselves too,
Oh yeah.
right? It's like and again, I think it's just a human, unfortunately, like a construct from the fall
Yeah.
that we now carry inside of us, right? Like I mean, we look at Adam and Eve in the garden, right? Um, Adam didn't say, "Hey, you know what? I was standing right there,
Yeah.
and yeah, she bit the apple, and so I decided to bite the apple. I mean, you know, whatever." The
Yeah.
first thing he did was go blame her,
So man,
right?
that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, he didn't, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Like he didn't say, "Hey, I take full accountability," right?
The
Like I was
woman
there.
you gave
You
me.
the woman. Yeah, the
Yeah,
woman.
he's like, no, man, this
Like, man,
woman that you made out of me,
he
that the previous chapter I was speaking so highly of her.
he threw her under the bus and backed over her about not
Yeah,
just once but twice, maybe three
correct,
times. It's
correct,
like, come on.
correct. Which and even in that, right? Like even in that, we see not that women aren't supposed to be accountable, but I think that the Lord looks at us as the men, right, as that like head to
Yeah.
be the accountable ones,
Yep.
right? And that's why it even says, right, like pray for your wife, right? So she is with no blemish. And right, like it shows that we are supposed to be the ones that even in a sense, and I don't want to say, and it's going to sound a little weird to say because only Jesus can absorb sins, but in a way we show face even for our spouses,
Yep.
and we have to show accountability for that. So in God's face, she's like, okay, she's good, right? Like Casey came and he showed face and he prayed and XYZ, right? So I
Right.
think even then it shows that we should take accountability in those situations, where again we see that through a pattern throughout the Bible, right? Where a lot of men was just like, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. Oh, you know, it sucks, but
Man. But yeah, everything pretty much comes down to, pretty much the birth of Isaac, with
yeah,
and
yeah. I was gonna say we can read 21. I know we started a little bit later, and about to start doing dinner here.
yeah,
But I want to finish off on 21. That way, if we have things that we want to talk about, obviously we end off on our prayer,
yeah.
and yeah. So
All right.
I'm ready when you fellas are.
All right, let's get this thing rolling here.
Chapter 21. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised.
Yeah.
And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, laughing. So she said to Abraham, Cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, Be not displeased because of the boy and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you. For through Isaac shall your offspring be named.
Yeah.
And I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot, for she said, Let me not look on the death of the child.
Yeah.
And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Up, lift up the boy and hold him fast with your hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. And God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. At that time Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me or with my descendants or with my posterity, but as I have dealt kindly with you, so you will deal with me and with the land where you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. When Abraham reproved Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized, Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I have not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock apart, and Abimelech said to Abraham, What is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart? He said, These 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, that this may be a witness for me that I dug this well. Therefore that place was called Beersheba, because there both of them swore an oath. So they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, rose up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God.
Wow.
And Abraham sojourned many days in the land of the Philistines.
Wow. I mean,
That's crazy.
for her to set her son down and walk away pretty much, or set him pretty much in almost like dead heat wise, sun bearing down on him, goes 50 feet from him, whatever, pretty much covers her ears and her face, and don't want to hear anything, or don't want to hear him crying, don't want to hear him screaming, nothing like that, but God turns around and blesses him. Makes him, tells her, hey, he's gonna come strong out of this, but she was already ready to write him off.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think I think from like a fleshly perspective, right? Like, man, that sucks too, right? Like think about how many children we save as a church. Um who maybe were in very similar situations as that.
Yeah.
Right? Where think about it, right? Like if you were out in the desert with your child, right?
Yeah.
And you guys just ran out of water. And like my kid's gonna die, right?
Right.
I think it's not so much of her writing him off. I think it's more of
No.
like, I don't want to see my son die from dehydration because I can't find a way to
Or she can
like to
provide.
take care of him.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but again, I think even like, right, like think about how he had that child when the Lord told him, hey, listen to me. I'm gonna make sure that you have a kid. He's like, no, 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 no. Let me go and have this baby over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, traces back to what I was saying earlier, right? Where like even in a situation that Abraham did not make the right call, God
Yeah.
fixed it, gave him Isaac, and then he still made that child to be a great leader of nations,
Yeah.
right? So again, this just points back to like even when we have half-baked decisions or we are disobedient with some decisions, he can still turn that around and
Yeah.
rewrite that time frame of how that looks.
Exactly.
You
And,
know?
and even on here is that God, pretty much 21 or 1 through 2 is that God keeps His word, or when when we claim His promises, we know that we know that our sovereign God is able to fulfill them. Under normal circumstances, there was no way that Sarah could have become a mother, but God gave her a child anyway. We may find ourselves in situations that seem just as impossible, but with God, anything is possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry,
My little man was just waking up from a nap.
Oh yeah.
Hi, baby. Hello. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, man, when we see that. Um I think even even in a time where things may seem like, hey, there's no other option I have.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I have to do. Again, it still provides and shows that the Lord can still make a way without really the resources that we see.
Right.
But the Lord can make resources happen when he calls for it, you know?
Hi,
Yeah,
buddy.
he's the ultimate provider for sure.
He's the ultimate provider, correct.
And even right here in my Bible has a little section that says, "No wonder he laughs." Or yeah, there's middle children aren't the only ones who sometimes get overlooked. Middle patriarchs can suffer the same fate. About two
Mm-hmm.
dozen about 2 dozen times in the or yeah about 2 dozen times the Bible uses or some or form of or some form of this phrase, or the God
Yeah.
of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or Abraham, we know fairly well, and Jacob we remember as the father of 12 sons who founded the 12 tribes of Israel. But Isaac who? That's the bad or that is or that's too bad because in one sense everything depends on Isaac. Isaac was the only son of Abraham and Sarah, born miraculously to the couple when they were too old to have children. Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was only 10 years younger. In addition, Sarah had been barren. In Genesis 17:17, says in Romans 4:19 and Hebrews 11:11, pretty much her whole life. Yeah, she had been barren her whole life. Yeah, God had promised the couple a son, and a son He gave them, or despite their despite their advanced years, and despite their doubts. So can you imagine being Isaac? From the earliest days, you hear over and over from your elderly parents how you living, or how you are a living miracle. Or your father tells you how, your father tells you how God promised, how God promised a son, yet waited a quarter of a century to fulfill his promise. Your mother, or your mother tells you how both she and your dad chuckled in disbelief at God's announcement of your coming birth, and then how they both laughed tears of joy at your arrival. Even your name Isaac means he laughs. Then after all of that, or one day, or your aged father tells you to get prepared for a trip when you're going to, you're going to be sacrificed, placed at the, going to a sacred place to make a sacrifice. He says, you notice that, you notice that, he seems especially troubled on this day, or on this 3-day journey. Yet you mark it down as fatigue from the journey, or just your imagination. Anyway, who are you, a mere boy, to question the vulnerable soul, who receives promises direct from the lips of God? Still it bothers you. Still it bothers you, and he has not brought an animal to sacrifice, and you ask him about it. God Himself will provide the lamb, for the burnt offering, my son. He replies. Then goes silent. You reach your destination, and your beloved father, the one who has told you again and again and again about your destiny, and about his love for you, binds you with strong rope, places you on the altar he has built, and raises his knife above your chest. Then your terror changes to a tidal wave of relief when an unseen voice calls out from heaven. Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything. Not do anything to him. Now I know you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Isaac, of course, lived to be 180 years old, and our father Jacob thus continuing the unbroken line that eventually led to Jesus Christ. And because of Christ, the Apostle Paul can say to us, now you brothers and sisters, like Isaac, are children of promises. Or so with this kind of heritage, it probably wouldn't bother Isaac too much that we sometimes forget his story. It would take a lot more than that to bother this son of promise, whose name means he laughed.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, think about that though, right? Like that's so true, right? Like that's so true, man. Like hearing how you were born at this. Well, first of all, man, dude, let me be honest with you, bro. I got 4 kids. I've raised 2 other kids that weren't mine when I was younger. I could not imagine being a dad at 100 years old.
Right.
dude, I'm 30 and I barely have the energy for these things. But poor friggin' Sarah, dude. Imagine having to carry a baby. Imagine a young girl being pregnant when y'all like 90 something.
Yeah.
That pregnancy is rough. Rough. Um, but I think that's absolutely true, man. Where your whole life you're hearing, like you said, right, what a miracle baby you were,
Right.
and then you face that moment where you're like, well, damn, my dad's about to kill his miracle baby, you know. And then on top of that, you have that moment where it's like, okay, cool, then God saved me. So Isaac's story is absolutely one of those very, very interesting. I agree. I agree.
Man.
Oh man.
Yeah, because I mean just his storyline right there. I mean, just but man, I'd be like Isaac, walking behind my dad saying, all right, we're going up here to build an altar for a sacrifice, not seeing the ram or the lamb anywhere to be in sight. What's going on? What's he? I mean, yeah, Abraham was trusting in God.
And yet Isaac was trusting in his father
Yeah.
to do as his
Yeah.
father had said, because I think
It's like,
we
man.
don't know this, but I'm pretty sure that Isaac, even at a young age, saw his father's faithfulness
Oh yeah,
and thought,
Oh, for
okay,
sure.
this is what my dad says he's going to do.
yeah,
This is what he's going to do. But I always thought about it too when, Abraham lifted up that knife, when the angel said, do not touch that boy, did Abraham's knife come down
but I
at
mean,
that time and strike the wood that his son was on? Like, how close
yeah,
did it come to, hitting his son?
but
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
and I can only imagine being there or being bound up, laying there. Your hands are tied pretty much, so you can't do anything.
Mhm.
Laying there, and you see your dad's knife come up, and you're like,
Or what if
I mean, but
Abraham had placed one hand over the eyes
eyes
of
of
his
him,
son
yeah.
so that he would
Well, and I'm pretty sure Isaac. I know Isaac was at peace about his dad's decision of trusting God. That yeah, God would provide.
I don't mean to discredit Isaac, but that just makes me think that, with Jesus, he
Yeah,
knew exactly what was going to happen. He didn't have to
exactly.
have his eyes covered. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew that he had to fulfill it. And that's just, I don't know, that really speaks to me.
Yeah, and even in
Yeah, for sure.
even in the animated series on Amazon Prime and stuff, you can watch it. It's pure or pretty much Superbook. Yeah, the newer versions and stuff, and it shows it shows Isaac, his concern and everything in that. And but it also shows the peace or the peace of or the peace that God had given him, you know.
Yeah.
So, he's pretty much in that same position of where Jesus was, being okay, you're calling me to be a sacrifice, I have no sin. He's pure of heart. That's why, God had chose Isaac because he's pure of heart, hadn't done no wrong. But, because that's exactly what the, sacrificial lamb and stuff anyway does. I mean, they choose the cleanest one, out of them all, the spotless ones.
Yeah, I mean, and I get where you're coming at. I think like the thing is too though that we see
Yeah.
the hard thing is think about this, right? Jesus was blameless. He knew what he was coming here to do. He knew that, right?
Right.
But there's nobody, even in the time of those people being crucified. Like if we think about the two thieves that were on the cross, none of them were as beat up as Jesus was.
Right. Exactly.
Right? So not only was he crucified, right? But he was beaten, he was deprived of water and food, and had to carry a 2, maybe 300-pound wooden cross miles and miles and miles, right? And knowing that that is, like knowing like this is where I'm going to end up, right?
Yeah.
So think about it. It's different for me. Let's just say somebody was holding me my family gunpoint, right? They're like, hey, pick somebody that dies. If you die, I'll let everybody else walk away. In that moment, I'm gonna be like, damn, that sucks, but I'll let it be me. But if I knew for 20 something years, 30 years that this was gonna be my fate, that's a whole different thing to swallow.
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Right?
obedience
Like you're
is,
living with that every day.
yep.
Yeah, you're living with that thought every single day, right? Where it's like, the more miracles that you perform, I'm getting closer to this. I'm getting
Yep.
closer to that, right? Where like me, right? Like obviously that's why, God himself had to come down because he knew that there was no other mortal that was going to be able to do that because we would look at ourselves and be like, okay, I'm going to choose a different path.
Yeah, we wouldn't be obedient to it
Right?
for sure.
We wouldn't be obedient to it. And it's kind of like we learned at Quest, right? Obedience is not natural, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Disobedience is natural. It's natural for us to not want to do the right thing, right? It's natural for us to find a wallet on the floor and somebody just be like, oh, let me see if there's some cash in it and then I'll return it.
Right.
Right? That's a natural thing. It's unnatural to pick that up and be like, no, I'm going to make sure I find who this is and everything that was in there is untouched. It's yours, right? So,
Well, and the crazy thing about it is the location where Abraham took Isaac up to is pretty much the same location Golgotha, where Jesus was buried or where Jesus was crucified.
which is crazy because I hear stories that that's where Adam's skull is buried.
Yeah, and pretty much Jesus.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm reading this. I just I looked it up again. How many miles did Jesus carry the cross? Well, it's pretty much or 1/3 of a mile. So pretty much 2,000 feet. He took 2,000 about 2,000 feet from the area where he was beaten to Via Dolorosa. Walking down Via Dolorosa, the path Jesus walked is roughly about 2,000 feet or 600 meters long. I was like, wow, man. And the actual weight of the cross and stuff itself. I mean, wasn't nothing to bicker at. It was full solid wood.
Yeah.
No wheels attached to it, nothing to make it easy for him to pull.
Yeah. I mean, if we even look at like the height depictions of the cross,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that cross was easily 250 pounds,
Yeah.
somewhere around that ballpark range. And mind you, this is not even like, in my heyday, I've lifted a lot of heavy weights. But did I do that after I was beaten? I'm bleeding to death. Right? Like my organs are literally coming out of me. I have no water, no food. I have thorns in my brain, which I saw somebody put a whole video on that of like the neural pain that he would have been going through. His spine was exposed. Think about that. To go through all of that and still carry that amount of weight, that just shows the strength that Jesus had, right? To fulfill that will for us to it's kind of like what Michael was telling me, right? Like, and y'all remember that moment. Michael's like, yo, you gotta pick a side. You can't be like, oh, Jesus, and then feel like you're unrighteous or feel like you're
Right.
not worthy of his love and grace,
Yep.
right? Like you have to pick a side because once he was nailed to that cross and he took his last breath, that means every single one of us were righteous because he made us righteous, not because
Exactly.
of our own works, right? If it was our own works, I mean, we'd all burn.
Well,
But the reality is, Jesus was that good, man, and he was that merciful
I just looked up the
to
weight.
take that amount of weight. Yeah, man, take that amount of weight. Because, like I said, if I knew that that was my inevitable ending in 20 more years, I would probably do many things to not lead me there, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, or postpone it and delay it for
Or
sure.
postpone it. Yeah,
No.
exactly. Right. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you gonna go to the synagogue and argue? I'm like, nah, no, not today. I'm good. I'm gonna go
Not
home,
time for
dude.
that.
Yeah, I got
Couple
time for that. I'm
years.
not. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna tell these people I am the law of Moses, right? Like, I mean, it's crazy, man. Have you guys watched The Chosen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man, when
Great.
I tell you that series has probably been one of my favorites. I know there's a lot of like, opinions of like things that are in that book, but The Chosen is probably one of my favorite series. And I've watched like The Passion of the Christ. I've watched the Noah movie. I watched the series on Netflix of Moses, and they got one of David on Amazon Prime. But man, when I say the Chosen to me depicts so well where
Oh yeah.
like the text that we read and what we see, I'm like, oh my gosh, that must have how it must have been.
Right.
Like when he told them, I am the law of Moses, I'm like, oh, Jesus was gangster, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
a cold line to say,
Right.
like, and so again, it just also shows too how bold he was, that he wasn't this timid man that was just like, okay, I'm gonna die. Like, no, he was somebody who would call things out. He'd call out false prophets and false teachings, but still have so much humility and humbleness to him. And that's why I love how like Quest tied our identity as men to Jesus,
Yeah.
of
100%.
how we should mirror like him as a man and that model.
And and even I just was curious too and looked up the weight of the cross. It was 300 pounds plus.
Yep.
See, I told you. I knew
Yeah,
it.
I mean solid wood.
Yeah,
100%. You know,
I knew it.
yeah, estimates range from 300 pounds or more, given it would have been, made of solid wood. So the sections of the cross are carried by Jesus is estimated to have weighed between 70 to 90 pounds, the crossbeam. So the material, uh, the wood was used, the wood used was likely a strong, durable type, possibly pine, and the crossbeam was probably a rough hewn beam, similar to like a railroad tie. So the usage its usage was I guess the vertical post vertical post, the stake, was already fixed in the ground, and Jesus would have been carried, would have been carrying the crossbeam.
That's crazy.
So yeah, he wasn't exactly carrying the whole cross, supposedly, but he was carrying that crossbeam.
Mhm.
Man,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think they put the cross together at the actual mountain,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, wow.
Um,
Because he was saying that, or it was saying right here that the actual post, the stake, was kind of supposedly already put in the ground, but how would they raise that beam part up there, slap it in? But no, it would yeah, it would lay over and stuff like that. Or they lay it over and put it together and pin him to it and then raise him up,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just that initial
and
jolt of that stake part going back in the ground.
yeah, and I think like that's why I really love the Passion of the Christ, because like Mel Gibson is so big on like trying to keep the facts there. And that's how it shows it in the Passion of the Christ, right? It shows them with the beam, they put them on a thing, and they
Yep.
attach the beam to the actual post,
Yep.
you know? But they also showed too, right? Like in that movie where one of his arms, because of how badly he was beaten, right, was kind of like enlarged in itself.
Yeah,
And they had to dislocate his shoulder just to
well,
get his other arm to fit where the other hole would have been.
yeah, yeah. Jim Caviezel went through so much pain on that. You know,
Yeah.
he even
Yeah.
got struck by lightning.
Yeah, I mean his like I was showing Sarah that man a video of the things that he was explaining what he was
Yeah.
going through.
I mean,
Getting
still
sick,
hurt.
having heart surgery, getting pneumonia, getting struck by lightning, like and so I know like when I was younger, I remember I was like, man, like that was definitely the enemy trying to not have this film be finished.
Yeah,
But there was a part of me now when I look back on it, and I was telling Sarah this, where I'm like, I wonder if, and not in a harmful way, but I wonder if the Lord was saying, I'm going to give you a glimpse, just a taste
yeah,
of what it really felt like being on that cross,
yeah,
where every breath was excruciating. So when we see the actual like the cinematic behind it, right? Like you can tell that's really pain in his eyes,
yeah,
right? Like that's not something that's acting. Like he literally was in pain, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's awesome, man. I love this session. I like doing the 3 chapters because I
Yeah.
feel like it gives us time to like talk in between of things that come up to our minds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And still gives us time to like go through it. And I know every session is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
If there's more people on, we may not have as much time to like get around to everybody. But I really, really, really enjoyed this session today, guys. Like I really
Yeah.
needed this.
Need to
Yeah, I
get
got so much out of this, y'all probably don't even understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
good,
got a lot
bro.
out of this.
Good, man. That's why that's the bro. I'm saying right now, that's the main reason why like me and Casey have stood strong, man. Like, it's usually me and him and one other person. Right. I
Yeah.
think last week was the first, or the 2 weeks before was the first time we had 4 people on.
Yeah.
But we do it, man, because in moments that you may actually need it the most, we're here, right? Where you
Yeah.
have your brothers from Quest, we're going through the word together. And man, hell, there's times where I come on, I tell the guys, yo, I've been feeling like this, I've been feeling like that, and I always have those words of encouragement from them. So,
and
um,
yeah, Joshua, I need to get you hooked up in with this.
turn men 1 to 1, iron sharpens iron. What is that?
It's Ernest well, Earl Bristow's group. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm our man Joshua or Josh Alvery that just got back from Quest and Quitman. Me and him are bouncing off of each other, doing a training part on this and everything, and dude, it's we're on pretty much week 2, and mentor
Love
and
that.
mentee, and hell, even you and Trayvon, would be perfect. Y'all could get hooked up or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, connect me to what I have to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm absolutely.
right now it's just like kind of in trial phase, I guess, guinea pig mode, but
Yeah.
it's dude, just the content and it's pretty much good, and of course, it's based off, or based on Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. So
Yeah,
one man
I love it.
sharpens another,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, send me the details on it, bro.
So it's, a group of men are collaborated to help or build and ease to follow, or easy to follow workbook. Men are for man to man mentoring, designed for men. This workbook provides a straightforward system for mutual accountability, Says the design helps start discussions between mentor and mentee. The goal is to cultivate a strong, reliable bond between two Christian men across their lives, helping them to navigate trials and temptations every man encounters. It says the biblical truth he wants, or yeah, the biblical truth we want to base this program on comes from these two scriptures. For this is the love of God that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not burdensome. So 1 John 5:3, and for you were are called to freedom, brethren. Only do not turn do not turn your freedom into an opportunity for the flesh, but through our loves and our love, serve one another. Galatians 5:13. So it says successful mentorship begins with relationship building, and only then should problems and issues be discussed until a relationship of trust is built. It is extremely important to get to root issues, hiding strongholds that affect behavior. The relationship should help both men grow into their relationship to the Lord. So they are living in victory over our sin and our scheme of Satan to defeat them. So yeah, and man, it just
Amen.
it breaks this thing down, man. I mean, it has like in week 14 it goes over like the cycle of destruction, step 1, and it has it has 7 steps of that, and man, it is literally, I mean, this cycle right here, man. Look at that.
Repeat sin, what to do.
Yeah. And pretty much attack the sin, shame, enticement, or well, yeah, in entrenchment, sorry, distraction, overwhelmed, and defeat. So, and it has pretty much it gives you your choice. You can either go to you can from attack, you can either go from there to sin, or you can have an exit strategy, which is reciting scriptures and everything. So it's like, wow, it breaks this thing down, man, pretty easy. I mean, it has the questions and discussion in it and everything too, man. It's I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. No, that's that, bro. Yeah, absolutely. Where do I get that at?
I'll ask, or I'll see if Earl has another copy or something like that, and let him know that you want to
Let me know. Let me know if they have like a PDF.
I don't know if he's got a PDF or not, but I mean, they got the books already printed and everything. So, yeah, I'll get hooked up with him and stuff and see if we can, get you and maybe Trayvon or get you two a book or something like that. That way y'all can bounce off each other.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, fellas, I enjoyed this session a ton. I gotta get these kids ready for bed because they are crazy tired.
Hey, Josh,
Mitch, would you want to end us off in prayer, brother?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you real quick, man. Are you gonna be at church?
Say again?
Second service.
Oh, you go to second service?
I do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I will what's today? What's today? Friday?
Yeah.
Let me see. I will let Casey know tomorrow. I will do my best to try to set it up. If I go by myself, I can probably make it the first service. If I go with the family, it's typically not going to happen because a lot of things that I got to get
But
situated.
I want to tell you, man,
Um,
I want to give you a Wisconsin hug before I leave, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I will definitely do my best to make it there. We'll see if Sarah's willing to hang back this time around. But we'll see.
All right, yeah, I'll lead us off in
Of
prayer.
course, but hey, it is
Oh,
Father's
that's
Day
right.
weekend.
It is Father's Day. That's true. That's a great, perfect Father's Day gift. Give me a morning service without the kids.
And you just begging for that doghouse, aren't you?
give me a day. That's all right.
Yeah,
No, yeah, but Mitch, for sure, man. Yeah, brother, if you want to end us off in prayer, man, I would love to accept it.
all right, Lord, thank you for this time that we as men got to spend together in your word. Father, let us help us not to just be doers of the word, but let us actually put into action what you have taught us this evening, as you said in your word, that it is better to be a doer of the word than just a hearer only. Father, help us to get out of our way, or help us to get out of your way and allow you to have your will be done in our lives, Father, whatever that may be. Whatever you need us to do, Father, tell us, and we will get out of the way and let you do what you want to do, because you have major plans for each and every single one of us, man. And Father, I just thank you that this was a very anointed time that we had tonight.
Yes.
And Father, we just give you all the praise and the glory and the honor for everything that was said and done here tonight. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. I love that. That was beautiful, Mitch. I accept that.
Yeah.
I accept that word. But
Man.
yeah, fellas, we'll definitely I'll do my best to get to church on Sunday for service.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys have a good night.
You too,
Hey,
bro.
did you get a chance to read over that warrior or I am a warrior? I sent it to
The one
you.
that you sent in the group chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I put that on
That's good.
yeah, I put that on Gemini and stuff and just had it top up one or something similar to that I am a soldier and dude and I put I am a warrior and man I was like, oh, it hit home right there.
No, that came out really good, bro. Really good.
Yeah. But all right, man, we'll get your family and we'll see you on Sunday.
See y'all on Sunday, boys.
All right.
All right, see you, boys.
Unless I see y'all Sunday.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Night, Tavion.
Hey, yeah, see you, Tavion.
All right, I'll see you guys.
All right.
Later.